It's in the Congo in front from Coast Watch. Animo, is he running out of ground? In the Congo in front. Animo trying to go toe for toe. In the Congo kicks, and in the Congo won the Golden Rose.
Welcome to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I've got DK in studio.
Hey, Scooty, yes.
You're back on fire, man on fire.
Found a couple of winners, mate, finally. Well, we needed them, but that was good.
Switch over to Telegram. A few people are saying, when are the tips going to come through? When are the tips coming through? I'm going to say, just be patient, be patient. He's a sniper, this bloke.
I had to duck
and he just went bang, bang.
There's a few losers there. A few horses went like busted, so I just had to duck, dodge and weave and wait for a couple of good ones. So get it back on track.
Strike rate and profit absolutely high.
Could be happening the next few days. By the look of the thought, I've done the form so far, so stand by.
Outstanding stuff. And Nico, back from the house move.
Well, he's only hop stepping a G down in Toorak. Didn't he move down to Toorak?
Any truth?
Definitely not Toorak.
Whereabouts, Nico? Was Toorak or
down at Rye at the moment?
Right.
So it's a pretty good part of the world down there. Just
COVID
ticking away.
It's swerved Cranbourne West.
Yeah, hopefully.
And you did a little Twitter, like a broadcast on Twitter with the Moonee Valley races last Friday night. I enjoyed it. I was sitting at home eating pizza on the couch and tuned into it. I thought it was pretty good stuff.
Yeah,
what'd you do there?
Me and Trav just decided Twitter Spaces, you can just go live. So we pretty much just did a sort of mini broadcast of
radio show.
For the main race or for a few races?
No,
the whole card.
You just thought the whole card.
It was
amazing.
Marathon. It was an absolute marathon. Don't know if I'll do it again. But learnt me lesson there, and it was an absolute strip out as well. So that didn't help.
Yeah.
That never sort of helps the confidence levels or anything like that, does it?
Always the way.
Fill up yesterday, though, at Geelong. I chimed in to two of your good bets.
Yeah, exactly. Found Lazuka and Nevaeh's later in the day. I think we sent out 4 on top. Probably could have made a bit more of that day, and a bit of a mixed bag. Backed a few last, backed a few seconds, backed a few winners.
They ran pretty straight there, didn't they? It was the biggest odds.
Did.
The biggest odds of that last winner of Volleys, and it was only $6 or something. They ran pretty straight.
And I suppose we can talk about, everyone's talking about Animo. I see Richie Callender's coming out and saying it's going to win the Cox Plate, and then all of a sudden it's installed around $2.50 favourite for the Caulfield Guineas.
Yeah, well, it's all those people. They're all doubling down on it, mate. All the people who declared it there on the weekend are all on the Chevy with it, so they got to
chasing.
I got beat there, so it'll win the Caulfield Guineas. Well, it might. I mean, it's a good horse, but I'd be waiting for a barrier draw personally, and if it draws 14 or 14, well, then they've got to reassess, don't they? But they ran. I had another look at the times of that race. Geez, as I was saying, with those Gay horses up the front and Gay's instructions to keep the foot down, I mean, they're going to be good rating races, and that was a particularly good rating race. That'll hold them in very good stead when they come down here.
Yeah, well, you know this horse inside out, Nico. It's a bit of a nightmare horse for you, for many reasons, but
I've kind of dodged him a little this prep, which has probably been for the better. I was looking to really bet up on him there on Saturday, and then I saw the way the track was playing. I thought, you could be out of play, and in the Congo could sort of steal this. I probably should have backed in the Congo, to be honest. But yeah, I think the big factor there was the track. Like, there's no doubt. It was definitely a bias, I thought. I thought it was definitely a huge advantage to be on the fence, and especially on speed. I think if the track plays fair, Animo does win. And I think J-Mac probably could have got going a little bit earlier, but they were going hard. That was probably his thought process, 600 out. They've gone quick. They might just fall on a hole late.
He was only second up too.
So, he looks cheap right for Guineas. Barring a
you don't hear it, but again, they're all blaming the bias. Okay, there was bias there. Okay, we never heard a word about it when he won at Kembla, when the bias was against the Congo, when the fence was off and Animo had the pattern in his favour. But there it is on the weekend. Oh no, the pattern was in the Congo's favour and not against Animo. So you got to. I mean, people, you want to blast off early. Okay, you get big spoiled in future prices and things like that. But these things, barrier draws and track patterns, are key.
Absolutely. You were pretty savage laying him at the quote.
I just didn't think it's second.
Didn't justify the price,
especially from barrier 8. Like if he drew barrier 4 and landed a pair closer and all that, but and especially within in the Congo remark. I mean, it's can't breathe apparently, so it's gone.
How about Artorias? Just too far out of the race.
Jeez,
copped a bit of bad luck at the top of the straight when he went around that horse that was laying out. He
probably was suited to the tempo. I know because he can get on the chewy bit and the slower run races and things like that. But geez, he went good.
He's just prime example of when a horse has to run fast the entire race. They can't think about anything else.
Yeah.
You saw him in the extra plate. He was thinking. He was thinking, am I going to sort of hit the line? What am I doing? He was running all over the track. Make him go fast. Golden Slipper, Blue Diamond, high pressure races. He just has to chase the whole time. Brings out the best in him.
And Caulfield Guineas can be held to skelter. We've seen some clashes where it's just hell for leather. Yeah. And I'm a little bit concerned that Godolphin may have gone the wrong way with Animo. If he was mine, I would have taken him to the Everest and then dropped back for the Coolmore. He just looks like, to me, he's going to be 1,200, 1,400 metre horse. And then I see Richie and a few people sticking up for him for the Cox Plate. And I'm not convinced. And a horse like Artorias, I thought he was super. I think that in the Caulfield Guineas, he could be even suited a little bit more at the mile.
Yeah, it'll depend on a few factors. But we know the models, and for good reason, love the 3-year-olds in the Cox Plate. At 49 kilos, no weight, horse on the up out of the Caulfield Guineas. So it is a good play. So we'll just see he's got to get the Caulfield Guineas done first and see what happens there. A lot of water to go on the bridge. But I've known in the past from working at Cox Plate, from watching a lot of Cox Plate, the market loves the 3-year-old on that lightweight.
Yeah, and we haven't seen a lot sort of press on from the Guineas to the Cox Plate, at least. Few have sort of gone through the Spring Champion, but, the horses that have sort of progressed through the Guineas, so you think Piero went to the Cox Plate and started, I think he started favourite in that Cox
there's a lot
Plate.
of them.
So they can run huge races. I think they made the right call. I think he's looking for 1,600, and if he wins that, you got to have a roll of the dice of the Cox Plate for sure.
Jason as a party was on fire. He read that Golden Rose like a book. He said that In the Congo was going to be the horse to run down, and he said that if you're taking the price about Animo and think he's going to win, he probably needed to settle a couple of pairs closer. So it was like he'd seen the race before. Our man Jason,
Good crack first up because he tipped Secret Blaze as well.
Declared it, and it was favoured probably inside. Inside was pretty hot there.
Craig was riding like a man possessed, wasn't he, over the weekend?
And he can do that.
It was about $7 too, wasn't it, when we sort of recorded the show? So it was
a good price. Yeah, about $6.50. And the other horse that you boys found was Floating Artist, and that was off the map. 380 into around 220, 230.
And have a look at it. See what he just did, and just strong. Again, he was strong as an ox through the line. He's just a good horse.
Yeah,
love those sort of horses. I don't know where his ceiling is, but and the jock Tio, he's a good rider for him. He just knows the horse, so he's strong. I'll just get rolling on him. They're not going to run me down. So he's and the Elephant went all right. The Elephant, he's another strong horse. He's not. I mean, he was, he just looks strong and back up when he gets back up in triples. We're going to see where they're going with him. So
Zaki on Saturday as well at Sandown. There was a few big wins.
Yeah, so I think he was just happy to get that one under the belt. Zaki. I mean, outside lead in that sort of small field is not ideal. But
he looks like he'll improve off that. I would have thought. Yeah,
that was. I don't think. Better circumstances. And the short SP, very short SP, holds him in good stead going forward.
It's going to be a cracking show today. We've got Morphettville with Beat the Bagman. He's out of retirement, and we'll have a look at the Epsom and Metrop Day with Dan O'Sullivan. He's on Media Street. He's taken over DK's gigs on racing.com. But firstly, we'll look at the Turnbull Stakes program, and we'll kick off. You love getting into race one, Nico, and
the 2-year-olds.
Digging into the 2-year-olds.
You love them, mate. You love very hard. I see this. If I saw this race in the bush, I'd just go
pen.
Leave it to Nico and these other troll good judges.
I find if you do the work, you can always find something in the 2-year-old race.
I love it, and that's why you should subscribe to Nico's Mounting Yard stuff. And he's a big jump out man, and we'll get into that. But let's have a look at the market for the Maribyrnong Trial Stakes. It's just another layer. As soon as you see this race pop up, spring's getting even deeper and more serious, which is what I love. Robusto is a favourite here, first starter from the Waller Yard, and Preble, who's on fire, $3.40 here. Cavallo Rampant is $3.50. Getting the Spirit $6.50. Rampant Lion $6.50. Black Tahitian is $7.50. Lascars is $13. Cannonball $18. Doc O'Connor $31. And you can get much better the rest.
This market, when it first would have gone up, would have been one analyst doing his best, watching the jump out videos, just throwing something up. I mean, I can see why Nico can appeals like to people who've got good eyes on this sort of stuff. So one judge, the way the bookies do it, just copy and paste, throw a set of prices up, let blokes like Nico and other good judges knock them into line. So, but this is a market where no one's got any data, and it's just something that's thrown up. So I'm pretty sure Nico probably found a hole in it somewhere. Nico,
we're going to have a look at Robuzzo, the jump out here. And we'll see him work up the Flemington straight.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to see, but he's the horse that's sort of second widest there in the pink. You'll sort of see later in the jump out. This is a pretty good sort of hit out from this horse. He had a jump out prior to this down the straight where he sort of sat on speed and was good late. This jump out, he sat off them and really shown, I think, a really good turn of foot here late. He's very professional, this colt. Just look at the way he hits the line here. Craig was on.
He's got the jockey cam on. I thought it was Craig.
So maybe we can get a hold of that vision. Craig's suspended, so he would have rode this horse if he was sort of here. This is the most important part of this piece of work. Look at him through the line, just powering away from the other horses inside of him. He's doing it effortlessly there. I think this is a pretty smart colt. What he's shown, he's had 2 jump outs down the straight, which is a huge tick considering he's racing down the straight. He's on the outside of horses there. He's going to be on the outside of horses here from barrier number 7. I marked him a pretty clear favourite. I marked him sort of $3.50 before I saw any of the prices up. I think he went up around $3.80. He's been sort of put into line a bit, so I think he'll be hard to beat. He's definitely the horse I'm looking for from a yard point of view, and if he parades well, he's probably a horse I'm looking to have a bit of a crack at there on Saturday. Everything I've seen from him just suggests he's here to run a big race on debut from a new season sire as well by Churchill, who we haven't really seen a whole lot of, but he was a pretty good horse overseas, so interested to see what kind of type-wise he is. I did go back and look at all the sort of horses in this race that have been to the yearling sales, and the one that sort of appealed to me the most was number 1, Black Tahitian. We'll have a look at his jump out first, and we might have a look at a bit of a yearling vision of him as well. He's from the Adrian Bott Gay Waterhouse stable. He goes straight to the front here. Geordie Child's aboard. We know what a lethal combination that's been in the last few days with the Bayers getting the job done, and then Queen of Dubai. This is a very professional piece of work as well. He just quickens up nicely when asked for an effort. He'll probably lead this field. He'll find the rail from barrier number 2, which is a huge advantage in 2-year-old races. I thought he did that pretty effortlessly there. And sort of looking at him, this is him as a yearling. So he's really well built as a yearling. Good shoulder, good hindquarter on him, big lengthy girth on him, which suggests he might have a bit of an engine. Just a real nice flowing walk. Everything about him just suggests he's a get up and run 2-year-old. The mare is out of Pearl Congenial, running the Debutante Stakes. She won a place there. She won a place in the Moonee Valley race on Cox Plate Day. You look through that whole sort of pedigree. It's a get up and run sort of 2-year-old pedigree. Look at him as a yearling. Like, he just looks like an absolute ready-made 2-year-old. He looks like he could have gone to the races at this stage. And this was sort of back in April, I'm pretty sure. So I just loved everything I saw from him. I thought he was easily the best type of all the horses that I got to see on the yearling sort of videos. Paid $200,000 for him. I was surprised they got him that cheap, to be honest, given the pedigree he had and sort of just the way he moves. I thought there was no faulting him from that point of view. And I'm probably looking to save on him. I think Getting the Spirit's definitely got a chance from the Price Kent yard. Cavallo Rampant went up very short. Most recent jump out was at Sandown over 650 metres. Hit the line pretty strong there. Jump out before was keeping her short in the market. She finished second to Cool and Gatta, who's a $1.80 favourite in the Jim Crack Stakes. So that's what's keeping her short. I marked her $7. So I was kind of happy enough to be against her here. I think Robusto is the most professional. I think Black Tahitian may be the most forward of the lot of these. And I think you'll find the rail. So I'm happy to sort of back both of those and then wait for the yard and maybe potentially launch at one of them, hopefully.
Yeah, I was just back to that video of the yearling and whatnot, what Nico saw there. I spoke on Racing.com about biggest changes in the last landscape and being the information we can access, and I was more like this video replays and the sectional times, but that sort of stuff. Now, if you Google the horse, you can find some. I did it with those 2 first starters yesterday, the Frankel horse of Yulongs and the winner, the Roll the Dice horse. And then there was a story behind that Roll the Dice winner, and it was sourced by John Foote, who's their really good judge who works for them. Yeah. The horse hurt itself, got withdrawn from the sales. He went and chased it and said, we need to do a deal. I really want to buy this horse and stuff like that. And they paid $150,000 for it or something, which is a good price for them to pay. And, you find all this, you can find all this information, the information, and then the jump outs, of course, are just now part of the Racing.com form guide. The information we got now is just no excuses, really.
Yeah, I sort of went looking at him sort of this year because obviously can't be on track on Saturday. So if I was on track, I'd get to look at these horses for, sort of 10 minutes. I could probably focus on Robusto, look at him for 2 minutes, say, all right, is he absolutely sweet here? Whereas off the TV, you get about 30 seconds. So you got to make up your mind. So it's good just to have an idea of what these horses probably...
Especially you as a looker, where
they should be at off that sort of yearling vision. Didn't get to see Robusto or the Godolphin horses because they're homebreds. But I think Black Tahitian, if he parades like that on race day, just nice flowing walk and all those kinds of things. I was dragged along to many a yearling sale as a young fella from my old man and learnt a lot there. So
I bet.
And I sent the video to him and he said that's an outstanding sort of type.
I just had a look at the field. About 4 or 5 of them have got pre-race earmuffs on, and about 4 or 5 of them have got a lugging bit on. Now we know pre-race earmuffs is just to keep them calm in the mounting yard and whatnot. Why is the lugging bit? Do you know much about that, Nico? Why would that be? I know it's like Godolphin put it on every one of their horses. A lot of other trainers. Is it just to help with the steering or the, or
yeah, probably help with the steering, just a bit more control for the jockeys potentially. Yeah, Godolphin have it on both of theirs. Rampant Lion's got it on. Robusto's got it on, the lugging bit.
Yeah,
And then you look at a stable like Gay, he has no gear on.
No
Horse number 1, black t-shirt, no blinkers, no earmuffs pre-race, nothing like that. So they obviously think he's a very professional colt, which
is good. That's a good sign. And Craig, I think Gay loves Craig. Craig's he rides a lot of their horses when they're on. For him to be on that and the jump out, I'd say that's a very good lead for the talent of that horse.
Outstanding stuff. I can't add much there.
It's a bit in depth, wasn't it? But hopefully we find the winner.
Yeah, there you go. Well, hopefully then the punters get something out of it as well. A bit of because a good learning curve.
2-bet play there. Okay, let's have a look at the main event, the Turnbull Stakes. This is an absolute belter. Odds courtesy of TopSport.
This is the Aussie Kahir Stakes.
I'll tell you what, this is...
He owns the 3 favourites.
Unbelievable,
So
isn't
does
it?
Bray.
Oh, Bray's in it. Him and Bray together, probably 2 squillionaires.
So that's Very Elegant, Incentivise and Sir Dragonet, but Very Elegant is the favourite here. I tell you what, this is going to be some robot and some big wars, the big players. Who are they going to make favourite here? Very Elegant's the early favourite, according to the bookies, 235 out to 245 at TopSport. Incentivise, 245 to 260. Colette, 850. Sir Dragonet, who looks back, $9. Persan, $18. In from 21. Absolutely belter last start. Young Werther, 31. Explosive Jack, 34. Mount Popper, 41. Chapada, 100 to 1. And Johnny Get Angry, 151. So there's a couple of horses on the Cups trails here. Let's have a look at Very Elegant's replay first. And that's Roy Deeney out in front. This is all at weight for age level. You got Think It Over in the orange, and then Very Elegant. She darts back to the fence here and does pretty good work through the line. And you can see another one of the Chris Waller horses here in the green. Hungry Heart is hitting the line strongly. I know Case likes it. Looking at the Epsom, you got Star of the Seas boxing on Cascadian, but she really starts to motor late. Very Elegant, and then pretty workmanlike victory there. You said she was gone, and she may still be below her best.
Yeah, I don't know if she's exactly at the top of her powers.
Yeah.
She's getting older now. I think she's going to have to be near her best to beat Incentivise, but off that win, you would say the 2,000 metres is going to be very suited. She came off a bit a long way out there. That was over 1,600. It's been a prep they followed before. She won this race last year. There's a potential of rain on the day and sort of in the build up to the meeting as well, which is probably only going to suit her. She'd get back to the fence there, which was the place to be. Getting over Riadini, he is favourite to win the Epsom, I suppose. That is kind of the handicap sort of form. She's hard to knock. She's very hard to knock, but she's coming up against a proper horse here in Incentivise who...
Let's have a look at his little replay.
Is going to lead...
We've said this before. He was on the canvas, and then he just found a way to lift. You got Moanga, which ties into the Very Elegant form. Colette back in the blue. Explosive Jack in the white. Johnny Get Angry. They're the horses building.
So Dragonet coming down the middle. So this is probably the key form reference for this race. Now, Incentivise went out sort of only 2.5 lengths above here to the 600 metre mark. So that's very slow for this class.
We've spoken about that, and Preble did that for a reason because he was first up and trying to look after the horse.
He wanted to be strong late, which he was here. It was a very well sort of thought out ride. You look back to his run prior in the Tattersalls Cup where he absolutely bolted. He went out 11 lengths above.
That's right.
So I'm thinking he's somewhere in the middle ground here, and he probably goes, 5 or 7 lengths above. So we're out for, probably 5 lengths faster than what he did there, which is going to, I think, only suit him. That faster race shape's only going to suit a horse like him. He does look like he just finds control here. This will be a very tactical race. Preble will probably just own the front and ride his own race. Damien Lane on Very Elegant. I think it's the first time he's riding her as well. He can't get too far off him. He can't be given Incentivise 5 lengths at the 400 and expect to run him down.
And she's not the easiest horse to ride, is she?
She does have her quirks.
Yeah.
She's got better now. So I'd be thinking Damien Lane's like 1 out, 1 back. And coming into the straight, he'll be looking to be within sort of 2 lengths at the 200 metre mark.
She loves a dogfight.
She'd want to be level. Yeah. So I think Incentivise, like we saw there, he's probably not prone to sort of giving in, is he? He got headed there and kicked back and beat them all. So he seems like a real fighter as well. This is going to be a great race. This is the race of the spring so far. I can't wait to watch
always
it.
A great race too.
I couldn't find an angle to sort of bet into it. I think one of them probably wins. I think you're mad if you're trying to back anything to beat them.
It's the map will kill Sir Dragon. He's drawn outside.
He looks like he's going to be too far back. Colette, just I don't think she's good enough.
Second up syndrome, do you think it's a thing? A lot of people talk about it. It's like a bit of a muggish thing. Horses don't fight. A lot of people...
Just depends on the run they had first up. If they had a gut buster first up, they might be flat second up, but he got looked after first up, that also. I can't see him. Any problems with him? No, I don't. I like backing horses after I've seen them have a run, and it's only if they've had a gut buster, really.
The only thing I would say, if you're looking to get real involved in this race, is it's not grand final day for either of them. Incentivise grand final is probably the Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup. Very Elegance Grand Finals at Cox Plate. So if there are still going to be some little vulnerabilities here, it's going to be in a race like this. So if you're really looking to bet up on one or the other, that could sort of bring it undone. They're probably only both like 90%, I'd imagine, which wouldn't, the price range where both of them are at, $2.30 and $2.80. It's a price range you nearly want everything to be right. So I couldn't find an angle from a betting point of view, but I'll be very happy just sitting and watching this race and taking it in as a racing fan.
Mm-hmm. There was a little horse in the light pink colours in that replay, K Nautique, the Japanese horse that goes to the Hill Stakes, I think, at Sydney. So I might have to go through that replay just once more and see.
It was nice and strong late.
Yeah, it was strong through the long lane.
He missed the start. I don't know why he was last.
Well, I just have to go back and have a look at that replay again. But he might be a bet at $5.50 in an easier race in the Hill Stakes. So that'd be my only takeaway from having a look at that one. But as I said before, if you want Nico's late thoughts for $11 a meeting, it's great value. He's got his eye completely in, despite a little whoopsie at Moonee Valley last Friday night. He's been on fire, a couple of winners midweek, and I'm sure he'll be all over it at Flemington. We'll take a quick break and then we'll find some winners with Beat the Bagman, Shane ADAIR at Morphettville. Welcome back to Bet Doctor, behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host Scoot. We've got DK and Nico in studio, but now it's time to talk Adelaide racing with our man Beat the Bagman.
G'day guys, nice to be back on Bet Doctor. It's been a little while. We've had a bit of a freshen up, parading well. There's been good market support for my selections, so we're expecting big things on the weekend, Scoot.
They're still racing in Adelaide. It takes a back seat to Sydney and Melbourne. It's a bit sad, isn't it?
Yeah, we've have a little bit of an early spring with a few lead-up races. You've seen Behemoth and Bo Rosso over the border, but look, I think that SA form, whenever it comes to Victoria, I always say in the back of my mind, it's a long way to go to lose. So we've done well so far this spring. I think there'll be probably a few more riches heading our way before the spring's out.
My horse, Dallasan, is a massive chance in the Epsom this weekend. He was huge in the last start in the Rupert Clark. He's in a bumping duel out the back with Thunderstruck. So Dallasan, I think he's...
Where did you find him up there in the Doncaster, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Big odds.
He ran a place.
He ran a place. So
yeah,
still,
it was still
a great find. He ran really well.
Gets J-Mac, doesn't he?
He gets J-Mac.
J-Mac,
so he's a big chance.
J-Mac replaces Stubby.
Yeah. Outstanding. Gets a nice little tune up. So I think at double figure odds, he's definitely worth a bet. So yeah, the Adelaide form is the Mickey Mouse. And G-Tra,
what about it?
It goes all right. Giant killer.
He was lucky not to get. If he got that gap, he nearly would have beaten the other two, I reckon.
100%.
Yeah, it's a good horse.
Is that the race? You want the Everest as well?
We'll take them all, mate. We'll take them all. That's right. As you said, it's a long way to go to lose. Dallasan has proven that he can go the Sydney way of going. J-Mac going on for Stubby Holder probably loses a length there, I'd say. But, look, we all can't be Stubby. But, look, it'll be a big chance. It's probably worth a flutter at double odds.
Yeah, I'll be having something on for sure. All right, let's have a look at race 7. Let's find you guys a winner in Morphettville on the weekend. It's a 1,400-metre race, the Junction Handicap, and Retrato is the favourite, $3.40. Street Tough, a horse we backed before, $4.40 into $4. Magnetic Edge, $6. Lord Vladivostok, we know this horse very well. It's first up here with 62 kilos, $6.50. Don't Dream, it's over, $9.50. Regalo di Gitano is $12. Debt Collector, $21. Highly Decorated, $21. Tubby Two Tracks, $21. Mr. Marathon Man, $31. And Bramfield, $41. That rounds out the field. And we're going to have a look at Street Tough last start. This is a horse that Bagman likes. This is coming out of the Wiley Handicap. Pretty strong race. Kemmel Passer's coming over here, I think.
Yeah, Kemmel Pass was leading him up this day in the white. Ours is back there with the white sleeves and green chest, starting to weave a bit of a passage through. Worth noting, it was heavily backed this day after a 6-week layoff. You go back through Street Tough's form. Obviously, you got this run behind Kemmel Pass and Free of Debt, which have measured up at group class. Go back 3 runs, there's a second there to Sierra Sue, which is now Group 1 winning form. We can put a pen through, I think, that Flemington run in between. Look, there isn't a lot in the race once you go through it. Lord Vladivostok tends to race better second up. I would think that's probably on a Murray Bridge Cup path in a couple of weeks' time. Regalo di Gitano is probably better further in trip and second, third up. Retrato was poor in the Balaclava Cup. His best can be in the finish, but I think is well under the odds, and Highly Decorated may bring it undone because it won't be able to lead and dictate. So that's where we've landed. Street Tough, Todd Pennell, Will Clark, and as DK says, I come on here and tip Will Clarkin's runners every time I'm on here, so let's find another one.
Loves him. Loves him.
And I think this horse ran really well in Mildura, over 1,400 metres, Street Tough.
Yeah, it was heavily fancied. Everyone was tipping it that day.
Yeah.
I think everyone was spruiking it. It seems like he brought it back ran down the Flemington straight with the blinkers, and then he obviously might have had an issue. Then he freshened up into that race the other day. So just thought,
he's due, this horse. He's definitely due.
This
he's due,
looks
but
a perfect race for it.
Yeah, he just gets back a bit, but he's as I said, it's the good thing is Bagman knows the opposition really well. We know he knows Lord Vladivostok. Retrado's very well exposed. He's had a heap of starts, so Bagman knows these horses well, and and we know Street Tough. So you're back out to 1,400 bit ago.
Yeah, I backed Retrado last start and thought he was a bit disappointing. I thought Lord Vladivostok trial pretty good. Just was a bit hidden sort of back in the field there. I was actually going to back him last week in the Testarossa when he was going to come to Melbourne, but he's got scratched there, so maybe a little sort of setback, and he only had sort of 54 there. Now he's got to carry
62, no claim.
So, yeah, that doesn't help him, does it?
I like the idea of this horse jumping back up to 1,400 metres. Looks pretty good in a much weaker race, and that's this is Bagman's go. He can find a horse dropping back in grade and just gives him a short back and sides. He absolutely flogs them. Let's have a look. I think it's a great bet at $4. I'll be taking the price for sure. Let's have a look at race 9, the Team Grand Syndicate Handicap over 12.50 here, and Castle of Kings. Another one of our horses, $3.50 here. Redeal is $4.60. Zia Vera is $6.50. Mayan, $7. Echo Boomer, $9. So You Can, $10. Rock Harbour, $13. Ocean Reward, $16. Perfect Command, $26. And you get much better. The rest, we're going to have a look at So You Can last start. Second up, in the pink.
Yeah, this was poor, really. Looking at it, its form going into the race was quite strong. It was well supported in markets, and as you said, it loomed up here on the outside. Didn't offer a lot in the run. If you're willing to go past this effort and go on its previous starts, it should be well in the market, and the market's really forgotten about it at that double-figure price. It SP'd a lot shorter than Mayan, who you see running second in this event from the Tony McAvoy yard. It brings very strong form at the Parks track, which is a big tick for that. And more importantly, Jason Holder has stayed on this mount. Jason Holder's absolutely riding everything to victory at the moment. He's leading the premiership here and made every post a winner. So maybe that J-Mac on Dallasan is actually losing a length or two. So I thought if we are in a little bit of trouble coming to the last, So You Can at an each way price is worth a spec around that $10 and $3 a place. Its best form is definitely good enough to be winning this.
Castle of Kings, back in trip.
When I saw Bagman was tipping in this race, and he's obviously Will Clark and Top Pennell's got the favourites, otherwise he's looking around it. But it just reeks of setback. Doesn't it, Bagman? I mean, it would win by 5 lengths over 1,500. Then it was accepted to run at 1,600 on the 18th, and now it's back. It didn't run, and now it's had 31 days between runs back in trip. Like, it just reeks of setback to me.
Yeah, sorry, it was a real heavy leader bias track that day at Gawler as well. I mean, it found the perfect position. It was the opposition. I probably could have beaten a couple of them home and snuck a place. It was a low race. He did win well. He did get the conditions to suit, but as you said, there's been a few hiccups along the way. $3.50. It's not worth a bet at that price.
No, and Redeal might not even go there. Redeal's in at Moonee Valley, drawn well. And Mayan, as he said, he had the very strong SP over last start, so I can see why you need to be a forgiving bunch. I mean, they saw it with Slickback Teddy yesterday.
Yeah.
Got to be forgiving. Everyone tuned in at Bendigo. A lot of people dropped off yesterday and he got the money, but there were circumstances.
Gave myself a complete uppercut for betting in a 2,500 metre maiden at Bendigo. And I was like, carbon copy race the week after, and it bolts it.
Yeah, so, yes, one of the attributes is you've got to be forgiving. So, but you can trust the SPs there, and I think a market will tell a story. It'll be 10 out to 16, you don't want to be on it, but if it's 10 solid or 10 into 8, absolutely.
Nice little saver. I was a bit disappointed. I was on this horse last time. I think, Bagman, you might have tipped it last time, and it was
just keep that to yourself, Skeeter. Right? We don't need to be ruining my reputation on here on air.
I think you declared it in one of our chat groups.
We're chasing, mate. We're chasing. Don't worry about that.
Following your money.
I think it's a horse who races a bit keen, and I think it's up to his breathing and things like that. And just in that race there, he might have just got trucking a bit too much, and it sapped his finish. So it can be a bit tricky, but if he puts it together, the SPs show you he should have been better
Yeah, you should get a soft run. Like if you can get the last crack at him, sort of suck run, peel, produce a gap, and then go bang. That sort of seems his go in life. Not think about it too much.
All right, so Street Tough's the best on the program, and the best value bet is So You Can. Any final thoughts, Bagman, or just happy? It looks a bit dark over there in hiding on the generator.
Yes. The rain is pouring at the moment. We're currently rated a good 4, apparently, according to the Riser website. It will be in the slow range come Saturday with shower activity for most of the week coming up. So I think we'll be looking for a horse that don't mind a little bit of toe in the ground, and hopefully they're making up a little bit of ground, and Street Tough will get home for us, and we can feed the kids on Saturday night.
15 mil expected to hit today, so everyone was thinking that the weather's going to hit yesterday, and it was a little bit overnight.
There or here?
No, in Melbourne.
How good's the bomb?
More is coming.
How good's the bomb going? Like, please.
A day late. They're just a day late.
It was supposed to be a heavy track at Geelong. It was a firm 2.
It's supposed to be a bog at Maui, and it hasn't come. Anyway.
All right, so the weather's coming. It's in Adelaide now, and by late Thursday, it should be hitting Melbourne, and then a couple of wet days. So Flemington it'll be good for it. Flemington it always is. Who are we kidding? But could be a little bit sloppy over in Adelaide. Thanks, Bagman. Good luck on the weekend.
Cheers, guys. Speak soon.
All right, if you're doing your form this weekend, make sure you check out puntingform.com.au. All us 3 boys in the studio use it. It's been a game changer for us. And you can store all your database notes, black book, and look at all the sectional times and benchmarks if you're going to take the next step to becoming a pro or semi-pro punter. Definitely puntingform.com.au. They are the way forward. All right, it's Group 1 Metrop and Epsom Day up at Randwick. It's going to be an absolute belter. And Dan O'Sullivan, he's been on Media Street into the racing.com mix there, so he's been on fire lately for us as well. So he's going to join us after the break to sort Randwick. Welcome back to Bet Doctor. You got Scoot, DK, and Nico in studio. Now it's time to talk Randwick with Daniel O'Sullivan from the Ratings Bureau. How are you, Dan?
Hey guys, really good, thanks.
Mate, you've been on fire. You've been everywhere on racing.com. You're a busy man. We couldn't get you last week, but here you are to save the day. But let's have a quick look at the Premier Stakes. It's a cracking card. There's a fair bit of racing stuff to get through here. But race 6 is the first one. We've got odds courtesy of TopSport, the Premier Stakes. We've got Masked Crusader, $2.90 horse we know lots about. Rothfire, $3.80. Lost and Running, $6. Splintex, $7. You've tipped that up on the show before. Jonker, $8.50. Standout, $18. And 26 Embracer and Better the rest. I guess the burning question on everyone's lips is Rothfire back off what you saw first up last time?
I thought it was a super first up off such a long break. He doesn't like it soft, so I think that adds merit to his run last start. But potentially we're going to get similar conditions again on Saturday. I think it's a pretty low race in terms of form. Obviously, there's a stack of talented horses, but outside of Splintex, every other horse is coming into the race off a pretty ordinary run relative to their sort of normal standards. Even Rothfire, he was lengths below his best, and as I said, there's a query about him on soft ground. So I'm not sure I can really find a bet in the race, to be honest. We've got Masked Crusader, Lost and Running, both Everest hopefuls that went pretty plain at their last run. So yeah, I'm really not sure where to look in this race.
It's an interesting one because Rothfire was pretty revved up. I'm not convinced. I want to see him once more time again.
I was in love with the trial going in, and I wasn't surprised to see him drift. I think he opened $5 last start. You got out to like 11 or 13 slate, I think. So this is probably a better setup for him. But like Dan said, the track, Masked Crusader's been on the drift early. He's been sort of 260 out to 290 as well. I think he's the best horse in the race, but I think he's going to be better suited to an Everest if when they go along at a real strong sort of early tempo and he can just show probably his sustained turn of foot, and that's the grand final. What'd you make of his last start run, Dan? I know we had Mark Lambourne on the show sort of that week, and he was saying that maybe Masked Crusader's lack of early speed suggests he's maybe not up to a few of these horses.
Yeah, one of the universal racing is that as you go up in grade, it's much harder to come from the back and win. When you're racing against horses you're just better than, you can get away with it more and more. So in the case of Masked Crusader, he's just lost this early speed. He just can't jump and find a position. And when you're racing against the very top horses, it's near physically impossible to give them 6-7 lengths and run home in the sectionals needed to get over the top of them. people were waxing lyrical about his win first up, but he's running down horses like Amish Boy and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, I mean, he ran outstanding sectionals to do that. But when you're racing against the top level, the horses in front of him from that position are running home, 3 lengths faster. So my position on him is I do think he's talented enough to win a race like an Everest if he can find himself within 3 or no more than 4 lengths back, sort of at the 600. He's going to be 5-6 lengths back. I really don't think he's got any chance unless all of those in front of him are sort of falling over. So I think first up was a bit of a forgive. He was back and wide in the worst lanes, and he was still entitled to do more, but you couldn't write him off on that performance. I think this race going up to 1200 is going to tell us a lot more about where he's at. As I said, some of the form's pretty questionable. So if he's going any good, I really think he should be getting home over the top of them, especially if the track is wet, which, as we said, is a big query for Rothfire.
Spot on. Horses staying at those sprint trips. I think you've hit the nail on the head. Different kettle of fish if they're going up in trip. Let's have a look at a lot of horses here going to 1600 for the first time and up in trip in the Flight Stakes. And Star Tuntes is a horse that got a fair way out of its ground in the Golden Rose last time. $4 favourite here. 4 moves ahead from John Sargent's yard here. $4.60. Mallory $5.50. Swift Witness $8. I think the Merlihans have got a share in that one. She's all class $10. Fangirl $15. Stray $21. And you can get much better the rest. Let's have a look at a couple of replays and I'll get Dan to talk through them. But Star Tuntes, we've already spoken about how strongly the race rated, given how fast they went.
She was really good coming from the back. I mean, anyone that looks at sectional data will see that. I think it figures with a second best in the race behind Artorias. She came with pretty good Queensland form, nowhere near up to the level of that Golden Rose, but she's gone ahead again and improved. But that's clearly even though she was beaten away in that race, it still on my figures comes out as clearly the best form of the fillies going into that race. You certainly couldn't pot her at the mile. It's just a little question where she's going to get to on the map. It's a big field. She's sort of drawn middle of the line type of thing, and she does lack a bit of early speed, and they like to ride her conservatively. From my perspective, probably not a horse I'm going to back, but I think she's clearly the horse to beat off what we saw last week.
Let's have a look at the T Rose and horses coming through a 4 moves ahead, Mallory and Swift Witness, and talk us through this one. Swift Witness out in front. You've got 4 moves ahead on its back.
Yeah, this is the main fillies lead up, obviously. 4 moves ahead was ridden further forward, had the right map to sort of press forward and find that spot. Thought she did the job pretty well. You can see the 3 in front there had a clearly better turn of foot than those chasing, which is always an appealing trait. She was quite strong late there, 4 moves ahead. I mean, she looks cast on the barrier again. It's potentially similar to last start. She may be able to get over okay, but it's always some sort of risk factor. But, I think she's definitely one of the leading contenders and probably a horse I could back in the race just because of where she will be on the map. And I trust that the market provides you sort of compensation for those wide barriers. I thought Mallory was good in that race, like through the line. She didn't really have completely clear running at the right time. She probably still had a chance, but I just thought, 30, 40, 50 metres past the post, she was doing some really good work. So she's one that might appreciate the mile and maps well. They're probably the only 2 I could really have out of that race. I mean, sectional watchers will be sort of looking at Von Trapp and how it was hitting the line, but from that draw, it's just going to be a mile back in the field, and I just can't see how it's any value in the race. The best long shot for me is Hinged. Chris Waller horse, purchased from Queensland, came down, was off like a 49-day break or something and got cast wide in last start. Really just had no chance, but up to a mile here. Previous run at Doomben over a mile, she dominated from the front, was really strong and a figure that's quite competitive in this race. And just on this map, I think she's going to find a position somewhere up near the lead again. And if she can bounce back to anything like what she ran over a 2-year-old as a 2-year-old late in the season in Brisbane, then I think she can be really competitive in the race. And she's around $26 or something like that. So she's probably, or no doubt, the best long shot in the race for me. I haven't quite worked out my own betting plan yet, but I'll definitely be having something on her and looking closely at Mallory and 4 moves ahead.
This is a tricky one for me. Any thoughts, Nico?
Oh, these fillies are so even. Like Swiftness, Mallory, and Four Moves Ahead were all very good 2-year-olds. Usually, like, there's a sort of standout 3-year-old filly that sort of progresses and goes past horses like them, and they're still sort of right there. She's Old Class was probably the horse that was going to do that, but she was disappointing last start. She was okay first up. Star Tontes is probably the DF coming through like
the boys
Queensland form and then the boys. Golden Rose, if she can run a mile and doesn't get too far back, she's probably the horse to beat. I would rather have seen more of an A-grade jockey on. I think it's a race where it could just throw up anything. There's a lot of these horses that have come out of races that haven't been run to suit them, races where there's been patterns against a few. I got a bit of time for this filly down the bottom, left reeling. She hasn't won a maiden yet, but she can run home in some big closing splits, finish second to Yearning, who wasn't far off him in the Furious. I reckon this will come down to who gets the right run in the race, who gets the luck, and it could just throw up a big result.
Yeah, no real opinion here, but I can see the angle coming through the Golden Rose. I think that's the obvious form line that I'd be following. All right, let's have a look at the big one, the big handicap, the Epsom over 1,600 metres, and Roy Deeney gets the big weight drop here with the very elegant form. It's $5 with Rachel King aboard. Still, Moanga, horse DK it loves, $7.50 into $6.50. It's got the top weight. Hungry Heart, $7.50. Private Eye, $8. A horse that gets another nice weight drop that Dan spec'd a few weeks ago. So a few you guys at home maybe on Private Eye at bigger pre-post odds if you've been listening and following the show. Ice Bath, $10. Arameo, $12. A Tissue, $17. Dallasan, my horse, $18. Cascadia, $19. Well, he's ballooned out to a big price. Skylab, $19, and Harmony Rose, $20, and you can get much better the rest. Let's have a quick look at Roy Deeney. We've already seen it before with very elegant, but there's a couple of runners here. Talk us through it, Dan.
Yeah, two runs weight for age, just run down in the final stages. I mean, he profiles perfectly for like a mile Group 1 handicap winner. With competitive weight for age form, dropping massively in weight. He is the type of horse I tend to find, a good front runner, so I will be on him. The little query is probably in those two races, he did find the front pretty easy, and he was able to break free on the lead there and not really have any serious competition. He was able to really sort of put the acid to those behind him, sort of between the 8 and the 4 or the 300, and then, as we saw, he was sort of stopping a bit late, but was still, extremely good effort. Offsetting that is like the massive weight drop. So it really is like a, trading off sort of one positive for perhaps another negative and things like that. And over time, I've learned not to question all that noise too much, and you just sort of stick to the horses that profile well. And as far as Group 1 handicap winners do, he sort of fits right in the zone of stacks of horses I've backed over the years that have been quite successful in these types of races. So I'll be happy to have something on him. I think he's clearly the horse to beat, but there's a couple of others not too far behind him.
I thought barrier 15 is just going to have to burn early, and it'll be interesting to see how the tactics play out in that one. But she's got no option and it's a one-trick pony.
Got some competition for the front here, though, of Discharge and Ashman and things like the likes of that. So it'll be interesting early.
You'd think Discharge is going to just burn up the fence, and then Ashman's drawn 17. So he's going to be probably outside him, looking across him at some stage in the race, or just annoying him if he can't cross him. So I was with Dan. I still marked him favourite, given the sort of all the things that are in his favour. I suppose the big weight drop's a huge tick here, but there is some things that could bring him undone. I think he ran a big race in the Epsom last year at a big price, so he's obviously handled that sort of high pressure, and Rachel King seems like she's got a good association with the horse. What'd you make of Mwanga coming out of the Mackay Diva, Dan?
MF, Melbourne form.
Put a line through that one.
I'll turn it up.
Look, he's obviously a really promising horse, Mwanga. I love how he's come back this prep. First up, he ran just under his peak on my figures. He was first up at 1,400 and his peak came over 2,000 metres. So it was an enormously promising sign for his return as a 4-year-old. He went better than that again in the Mackay Diva. It was really good there in a slow run race. So he's back better than ever. I just don't like him at the top of the weights, to be honest. We saw, there's hundreds of examples we can use, but we saw more recently in the Rupert Clark that, the handicap weights do play a big role there with horses like Probabile and Behemoth at the top of the weights that didn't have the figures to sort of beat the other ones, and that's the way the sort of race played out. And I kind of feel it's a little bit similar here with Mo'unga. I have him sort of in the pack among a group of horses that could win, so it's really just a question of value. In my market, I've got him around $9, so he certainly still figures among the top couple of chances, and I've got a huge amount of respect for his potential to still keep elevating. But yeah, where he's going to be in the run, and as I said, his general sort of profile makes it hard to see any value. I wouldn't be shocked if he won, but I have to bet around him.
One horse that Dan's identified as value is Dalasan, and we'll have a quick look at his Sir Rupert Clarke run here, and he's way out the back with I'm Thunderstruck. You can see I'm Thunderstruck with the blinkers and the white blaze, and Dalasan's on his outside, and just at the turn here, they just go into a bit of a bumping duel. And then he picks himself up and finishes off nicely, Dan.
Yeah, he went well. He's only second up there. I mean, Dalasan could be, probably the best $18, $20 chance this year so far in a metro race at least. So, I think he sets up awesome for this race. Last prep, he came off a similar rating second up. He exploded third up. Just can't remember what that race was now. I'll just try and grab it here. Yeah, Doncaster. He exploded third, figure that could win this race. He was brilliant again in the Queen Elizabeth over 2000, fourth up. Both of those were on soft tracks. The Doncaster was on a soft track. He gets Jay McDonald here, best rider we've got in the country at the moment, the best we've seen, perhaps since Dee Beedman, certainly in Sydney. Most importantly, from that draw, sort of middle draw, there's not a huge amount of speed around him. James McDonald's a very proactive jockey, so I expect him to sort of send the horse forward and not be up near the lead, but I expect him to park, 3, no more than 4 lengths back off the speed. As we saw there, it was miles out the back. I really like that angle, finding horses that are going to settle further forward. As I said, he came off a similar rating, second up last prep, improved significantly, third up. The map, everything, 1600. He loves high-pressure races. He's got a number of performances in high-pressure races where he's run his better figures and he's shown he can run really fast overall time. I think he just ticks all the boxes here. I mean, we are making an assumption he's going to improve off that second-up run, but that's really the only sort of possible uncertainty or assumption for me. Everything else adds up to him being a potential winner of this race, and I think at $18, $19, $21, whatever you can get, brilliant bet, and I'll definitely be into him for a good result.
Do I dare ask what price you've got him?
I haven't finalised the price. I'm probably going to be around like the $9 mark, something like that, which certainly is nowhere near a certainty in any race. But I really struggle to mark him any longer than that, to be honest, given all the things considered. Just about every other horse in this race has one query or another over them as well. That's the nature of it. So I do think he's genuinely, twice the price that he should be at the moment.
Another one that you were kicking up for off air was Arameo.
Yeah, I really like this horse. He's come back enormous this prep with Chris Waller. First up, he actually ran. Everyone was raving about the run of Zaki, and it was great. But Arameo's run home faster than him from the 800 in every split, I think it was. Last start, he was very good again. He was just caught in the wrong lanes in the track, got too far back, just caught in the wrong part of the track, still worked home in outstanding sectionals. He's just flying this prep. He gets the massive weight drop from 58 down to 51.5. Alicia Collett, who I'm a huge rap for as a jockey, gets a big opportunity in a Group 1 race. And similar to Dalasan, he's a horse that can map just a little bit closer. He's certainly not a horse that likes to be up there, but he's been getting, a long way back from wide draws in recent times, and he gets a draw and a map structure here that could see him just settle a couple of lengths closer. With no weight on his back, with the sustained turn of foot that he showed in his first 2 runs this prep, I think he's one that can be posing sort of an ominous threat as they get to the 200, and he'll be there staking his claim.
Outstanding stuff. Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head, and I read the race pretty similar. And as much as I love Mo'unga, I'll definitely be swerving him. And I think Roy Deeney, if she can time it, it can pinch it. But love your angles there. All right, any other questions for Dan, or we'll let him off the hook?
Well, what about the great crash in Melbourne? Incentivised, very
that's a
elegant. What way is he leaning there?
Look, I'll personally way of incentivise. I think that he just has that upside. I expect a much more assertive ride in this race. I think even the stable, Brett Preble, might have commented that they were trying to be sort of pretty kind to him first up, and he still sort of managed to win the race. This is his final lead up before the Caulfield Cup, so he's there to really do something here. He needs a strong hit out. He needs to be stamping his credentials for that race, and there's no better way to do it than against the likes of Very Elegant and Sir Dragonet, who was also excellent behind him. Of course, none of us would be surprised if Very Elegant got over the top of him and won. But I think just from a betting perspective, I think he's longer than her in the market at the moment. And just that untapped upside of what he could do off his first up performance. I have them very similar on their ratings sort of going into the race. And I think that, he's just perhaps got that little bit more upside. Hopefully see another big performance from him, because, it's exciting to have horses like him and Zaki sort of bursting onto the scene to challenge the established top horses and really add something to the carnival. So, it's going to be an awesome race.
Outstanding stuff. All right, let's hopefully it's a ding-dong battle, and hopefully my boy Dallasan can get the chocolates at big odds, and everyone better snap up the odds, because if Dan's got around the $9 quote and is saying it's one of the best roughies he's seen, the odds will be moving quickly. So good luck to those who tuned in the show nice and early. Thanks, Dan. Outstanding analysis yet again.
Cheers, guys. Best of luck.
Well, that's it for DNO. It's a cracking. There's the Metrop as well. Handicap right at the end of the card there. Any little thoughts there, or a speculator for the Metrop? DK wouldn't have looked at it, but any thoughts?
DK's got a bit quiet in the old Sydney segment, but
he laid Animo, so he's got his job done there. He's still counting it.
He's still on top of the world after last week. Me and you were talking about attorney, sort of in the Bet Dropper group chat.
You were talking about it, and then what did it draw?
20.
That's right. So,
But it's got J-Mac as well.
It's got J-Mac.
That'll do.
Form a miracle from there.
It looks
Well,
hard
I'm
to
packing
beat.
up a couple. Was it? Attorney, what did it do? Did it
Yeah,
come
it
down
did.
here?
Yeah.
That's all you need to do, I reckon, to win a Metrop these
Yeah,
days.
exactly.
Pretty
It's
well.
not a strong Metrop. I see Zarex been off the map, $34 into $11. She's ideal. PR last time. Anyway, warning. He sort of peaks around this, though. He could jump out of the ground at $26. So you can go value hunting. That is for sure. I do notice we're about to do Mug's moral, and I see his moral has been scratched. Brookspire. So he's on fire, though. He tipped Ellsberg last start.
Up and about the mug,
Up and
wasn't
about. He just read it like a book, just punched outside the leader and just kept going.
Corned beef for dinner
Corned
last
beef.
with all the veggies and everything last night. Oh, the mug.
Yeah, so I think Mug, I think he's going to butter up with Montefilia. So I think Montefilia is his Metrop tip. So we'll give the video a swerve this week for Mug, unfortunately. But Brookside scratch, so he pushes on to Montefilia. But look out for Twitter. I'm sure he'll give it a supplementary tip. All right, let's have a look at the TopSport big bets here. And the first one we've got is at Flemington, race 8, number 13, Charlie Rose, 1,850. I'm a little bit surprised here. I think the horse, I don't know. I was sort of expecting a little bit more last time.
Oh, no, she was in the worst ground, I thought, there in the naturalism. She was probably one of the better runs of the race, I thought. She's just been set for this race. This is the race they want to win to get into the Melbourne Cup, but she drew barrier 20 as well. So I took $6 early in the week thinking she'd probably start closer to 4, and now she's 8.
Here we go.
Nico, the barrier draw. Betting before barrier draw. I didn't think you're up to that sort of
It's complete grubbery, and it's just
It's backfired.
bit me.
It'd be interesting to see if she jumps out of ground. This is her range, definitely 2,500 plus. All right, race 9, number 1 is ASAR's the next one, 1,500 at $5. Would you like that ticket?
Oh, he's got to win a race. He's had a fair few
He's a
chances.
gunner, though, isn't he?
He's turned it up a few times. His run on the River Clark was great, but he had 52 kilos. Now he's got to carry, I think, 59 and a half. It's a much weaker race, but if you had your last, you wouldn't want to be putting on an ASAR, that's for sure.
I started to look at that race and I got a headache. It was just a bit of a raffle for me.
Yeah.
I didn't want to play. Race 8, number 7 is Ice Bath, sorry. I've developed a list there, but it looks a chance. Hit the line really strongly, drops in weight. So
Wet
1,000.
tracker.
Yeah, 1,000 at 10, so the weather better for him. And the other one that we spoke about was Zayrek, and it's now into $11 a C, so the money just doesn't stop for this horse, race 9, number 20. So Zayrek's probably more likely going to Sydney based off the betting.
It's been 34s in.
DK, any opinion? This horse, Zayrek, you know anything about it?
No, I don't know.
No.
Sorry, Scoot.
Yeah, I sort of went looking for this horse, and I still wanted to be with Attorney off sort of what I saw last time.
I like the Attorney's platform, and if it drew a barrier, I like the fact that it's at third, looks set to peak third up. Just going to need a miracle from the draw, but it has got J Mac.
Yeah, and that's it. I thought Port Galemi was a horse that flashed home late last start. I think it might be on the right sort of track to pick off some sort of cup. I'm not sure what its level's at, but it was the horse that I didn't mind looking at the Bart Cummings, but at the price. Interesting to see what happens
In the race.
Yeah,
Fascinating race. The Bart Cummings. Shiraz comes over from overseas. If he gets a wet track, he's going to be very suited. So a lot of them trying to win their way into the Cup, but a few of them are already in, given just the sort of nature of this year's Melbourne Cup and not as many nominations and all those sort of things. So
that Derby lead-up's my most interesting race there. A lot of the horses I follow.
Yep.
Is it the Superimposed Gunstock Itotsu, the New Zealand horse? A lot of those up-and-comers I've been following through the maidens.
Sudakaka.
Yeah, so that's a very interesting race for me.
couple of good programs for you coming up. Matoa, that's always a great race.
Yeah, it just depends on. Yeah, I love Motara. I've had a bit of luck there, and Tatura Friday. It just depends on the rain. All the rain's ending up in the northeast. So, but Tatura doing the
Bendigo,
form there.
Barnsdale,
Yes. No excuses. No, so we'll be.
DK areas in Kyneton on the Monday.
Yeah. I grew up on that track. Dad was president there, so as many a race day as a young fella spent at Kyneton, my own devices in the betting ring there and whatnot. So, yeah, no. We'll have a bit.
I went on a streak for about 5 or 6 years where I didn't miss a Matoa Cup. We just always end up having runners there on Turnbull Stakes Day. So I remember watching Moment of Change. Absolutely bolt in
Linda,
there.
Wasn't it Linda?
I was sitting on the playground with my stepbrother and we just saw this thing about 25 lengths in front of every other horse. Shit, what's that?
And Moonee Valley Friday night. There's so much product, so much racing at the moment.
Just a big weekend.
Will you be doing the Twitter radio show on Friday night? You have a spell.
That's going to be given a spell because it's a huge day of racing on Saturday. So we've got to be primed and ready for that.
Turnbull Stakes. All right, make sure you check out Little Birdie Shop if you want these guys' products. DK at Y, the provincial set, and then the Metros Wednesday and Saturday for Nico stuff. But that's a wrap from us. Make sure you check out our other show, Little Birdie Podcast, if you want an NRL Grand Final preview, and our other NFL show, Third and Long. And if you want to get your teeth stuck into the NFL action, Nick Tedeschi is absolutely on fire. He's blazing a hot little trail on the NFL. He's very versatile, man. But hopefully there's a heap of winners, and we'll see you next week.